Hello learners, I welcome you all to this session on market segmentation. Again, it is a part of the course AMK-01 for BCom program and for BCom CBCS. It is part of BCOE-142. This is course code and the name of the program course is Marketing for AMK-01, and for the BCom CBCS the name of the course is Principles of Marketing. So before we discuss today's session, let us quickly recall what we have learned in the previous session. So in the previous session we have discussed the evolution of marketing, how from barter system we have evolved to the modern marketing, right? And then we try to see that this is because of all these changes and this is because of all these shift in the paradigm, marketing has got a new sense, marketing has got a new definition, a new meaning. And then we say, now in modern sense we say that marketing is a process of identifying the target market and then trying to identify the needs of the customer of that particular target market, converting that need into offering, which is of course products which may be tangible and intangible, and then distribution of those offerings to the customers, taking their feedback and in building or incorporating all those feedback into the marketing mix decision. So this is what we have learned in the previous session. Now we will move on to today's discussion. For today's discussion, let us see what all we are going to discuss. First we will try to see what this STP is, that is segmenting, targeting and positioning, what is this all about, and then we will learn what is segmentation, what are the requirements of effective segmentation, basis of segmentation, importance of segmentations, level of segmentation and segmentation strategy. STP, if you see, it's a very common and widely used term in marketing. Okay? This is a tool basically to align your offerings or products with the right customers. The customers are there in the market. If you want to align your products with the right customers, then you have to use this tool, you have to use this strategy. So STP stands for segmentation, targeting and positioning, right? Today's discussion will focus on segmentation. In the coming sessions we will discuss about targeting and positioning. So segmentation. It is always said that segmentation is the first activity of marketing process. Why first activity? Because when we said marketing is a process of identifying the target market, and when we identify we also try to analyze and understand it. Why do we need to analyze and understand the market? Because market by nature is very heterogeneous in nature. The taste and preferences of the consumers, the demographies, it all varies. It is very dynamic also. First of all, it varies from one person to the another, and then it keeps on changing also with time. With the same person, maybe the taste may change, right? So market is very, very heterogeneous, and if you don't try to bring some kind of homogeneity in that particular market, it may become a bit difficult for you to cater to the needs of the customers in a proper way. So we try to segment the market. So what is segmenting? Segmentation is dividing a large heterogeneous market into smaller subsets and trying to keep homogeneous audience into one segment. We are trying to convert the heterogeneity to homogeneity up to a certain extent. Customers in these segments, they share common interest, needs, wants, demand, similar taste, purchasing power and preference, right? In each segment, all these aspects, all these things, if you see, say for example, I have divided the whole market in 4 segments, segment A, segment B, segment C and segment D. So all the customers of segment A will share by and large common interest, needs, wants or demands. They will have similar taste and kind of similar purchasing power and preferences. So market segments are, very important thing to understand is, market segments are already there in the market. You don't have to create it. You just have to identify it and choose it. So on the various bases, on the various ways you can segment the market. So as we move with the discussion today, we will see how all can we segment the market or divide the market. But before dividing the market, we need to have a proper understanding of certain prerequisites which should be checked or seen before we go for segmenting the market. So those requirements are The market or segment should be identifiable and measurable. It should be differentiable. It should be accessible. It should be substantial, stable and actionable. So what are all these? What do we mean when we say that segment should be identifiable or measurable? It means the segment that you have chosen. For that segment, the size of the segment, the purchasing power of the customers belonging to that particular segment, the profits and profile of market segment, they can be measured. You should be able to measure all these things. Unless you are able to measure it, you can't anticipate, you can't forecast your sales, right? And not only that, you should also be able to measure the growth of that particular segment. Because as a business organization, you want to sustain in the market and also grow in the market. So you should be very careful while segmenting the market, and you should be checking it whether the market segment is identifiable or not. Then comes the market segment should be differentiable. What does it mean? Segment should have similar need or want, right? Or maybe demand. See, if you talk in economics term, there is a difference between need, want and demand. Although in marketing, we generally use need, wants and demand as one and the same. But quickly I'll tell you, just like need, everyone knows something you wish to have. But not every need is want. The companies, the economic activities which is surrounding around the customers, or all the economic activities I would say surrounds around the need only. Had there been no need amongst human, there wouldn't have been any economic activity. Right? So there are needs, right? But when the need has a kind of intensity with it, and people have ability to pay to satisfy that particular need, and also have willingness to pay for that, then that need become wants, right? And when the people have particular intense need and they have ability to pay, they have willingness to pay for that particular need at a particular price and at a particular time, then this want become demand. So the segment should have similar demand that ways, similar needs, right, which are clearly different from the needs of people in other segments. Say for example, you are trying to divide the market into two segments, segment A and segment B, right? And there is no difference, in those segments. There is no difference in the demand pattern of the customers in those two segments. Then what is the need? There is no need, right? So unless the segments are clearly differentiable, right, we should not go for market segmentation. For example, if married and unmarried men behave similarly while purchasing shoes, right? This is what happens. So there is little value in placing them in different segments. So why to segment the market? Suppose you are a manufacturer of shoes, or you are a business organization who is dealing with selling shoes to the customers, right? And your customers is, you have segmented the market on the basis of gender, that you are making it, you are manufacturing it, or you are selling it to men only, right? Then again further you don't have to segment the market that these are unmarried men and these are married men. Why? Because this has no value. And then accessible. Your segment should be accessible also. Unless you are able to reach to a particular segment, unless you are able to distribute your goods and services to that particular segment, there is no meaning to choose a segment or even segment the market. Then the next requirement is it should be substantial. That means segment should be large enough to be potentially profitable. If you are trying to divide the segment on certain basis, and then you have chosen a particular segment, but if the size of the segment is not large enough, that means you don't have enough sales, and if you don't have enough sales, that means you don't have enough profit. So if potential profitability is not there in the segment, there is no point of segmentation. So the important prerequisite of effective segmentation is the substantiality of that particular segment. Again, the segment should be stable, because if you are in the business, you don't want to do business for a day or two, you want to remain there for a longer period of time. So segments should be such that they can be marketed over a long period of time, and it should have high growth rate. Unless your segment have high growth rate, you cannot have your high growth rate. Then your segment should be actionable. That means if it should, it should be according to your capacity. When I say your, that means your business organization. So there can be a very promising segment in the market, but unless you have the capacity to cater to that particular segment, cater to the needs of that particular segment, you cannot act on it. So that segment is not for you. So segment has to be actionable. So we have seen that these are the requirements of effective segmentation: identifiable, it should be measurable, differentiable, accessible, substantial, stable, and actionable. Now we will see what are the various bases of segmentation. As I said, customers in the market, they are very different to each other. The market is quite heterogeneous, right? And you have to convert that heterogeneity into homogeneity. So there are various bases on which you can divide your market or convert the heterogeneity of market into homogeneity, right? There are various bases, but broadly they can be categorized under 4 categories: geographic segmentation, demographic segmentation, psychographic segmentation, and behavioral segmentation. So these 3 are the 4 broad categories in which through which you can divide your market, you can segment your market. Let us now see one by one what are these styles of segmentation or basis of segmentation. Geographic segmentation. When market is divided on the basis of geographic units such as countries, states, cities, etc., that becomes your geographic segmentation. Or maybe it can be on the basis of other geographical factors such as climate, or maybe cultural preferences, populations and more, or maybe it may be rural, urban and suburban markets. So these are the various kinds, or these are the various bases on which you can segment your market, and this is called geographic segmentation. When targeting different geographic segments, marketers need to take into consideration elements such as language or culture as they change depending on the region they are targeting. The moment you move from one region to the other, right, the culture of, you can see the cultural differences, you can see the change in the languages, you can see the changes in the lifestyles also. For example, if you see, black color bridal dresses would not be designed in Indian market by and large. By and large in India, all across the 4 zones, north, east, west and south, black color perhaps is not considered good, right? So if you are a manufacturer, if you are a business organization who is dealing with the bridal dresses, you will avoid to have black color. And this notion you have got from the cultural thing, right? That this is the culture of a particular region, culture of a particular country, our country, that we don't prefer black color in terms of bridal dresses. Geographic segmentation is very popular, and it is ideal for large MNCs I would say, large companies and MNCs, as it helps them understand location based attributes of a specific target market, which enables them to better address the varying wants and needs of the customer in these different regions. Suppose your organization is very large, so obviously you would like to cater to the entire market, right? You would like to maybe cross the boundary of the nation. You may be a multinational corporation, fine. In that case, whatever product mix decision you have made, howsoever you have designed the strategy, may not fit to the entire market. So you have to tailor-made it according to the cultural preferences of that particular region, right? So, and if you can do so, you can churn the benefit. So geographic segmentation is said to be ideal for large organizations, or especially for multinational corporations. For example, if you see McDonald's, they sell burgers and target local markets and with customized menus. If you see the menu of McDonald's, you come to India, you will have a different set of menu, right? You will go to some other part of the globe, you will have maybe some additions or some deletions in the menu, or some different kind of ingredients which is being used in the menu. So geographic segmentation is also ideal for small businesses, I would say, not only for big businesses but also for small businesses with limited budget. Why? Because if you as a business organization, if your scale of operation is small, that means you don't have that financial capability to serve the entire market, right? So in that particular case, what do? You try to segment the market on the basis of geographic segmentation. Maybe you want to cater to a particular region. In a particular country, you want to cater to a particular state or to a particular region, to a particular city, right? So, other than large scale organization, it is also ideal for small businesses. Compared to other segmentation types, geographic segmentation is relatively easy to perform. It can be easily segmented because there is no complication in that. There is nothing that you cannot understand in this. Then comes demographic segmentation. Demographic segmentation is segmenting the market on the basis of age, education, gender, income, occupation, religion, race, nationality and household size. So, when you are trying to divide your market on the basis of these things, age, education, gender, household size, income, occupation, that means you are doing demographic segmentation. This form of market segmentation is the most common because demographic information is easy to obtain through census data, analytics software, consumer insights and more. And especially, in today's world, when information technology is playing an important role, we have big data analytics and we have all kinds of information that we can use for segmentation. That is why this form of market segmentation is gaining much importance nowadays. This enables the marketer to reach customers on a more human level with personalized marketing. And when you are trying to be more human, and when we are trying to do personalized marketing, what is happening? You are trying to create deeper customer loyalty. For instance, suppose I am a customer and I have certain needs. There are certain needs which I have explained, which are stated, but there are certain needs which I may not explain, I may not state, but need is still there. For instance, suppose I am a person who belongs to a middle class income group, right? And I want to buy a sari. So, my explained need is that I want to buy a sari, but my unexplained need is I want a good sari, but the prices should be reasonable. It shouldn't be very high so that I cannot afford. It should be reasonable enough so that I can afford it and also I like it, right? So, if suppose somebody is trying to cater to me or maybe a particular brand, if they keep that particular range also for a customer like me, then I will become more loyal to them, isn't it? Why? Because I have been delighted. Again, if you recall the previous session, what I expected, fine, which I am explaining or I may not be explaining. So, what I expected and what I have been delivered, there is a difference and the difference is favorable. That means expectation is lesser and the delivery is much more. That means it will result into my delight, the customer delight, and when the customer is delighted, the customer is loyal also. Please remember, it is always important to have loyal customers in your business. They are very, very important. You have to retain the loyal customers in your business. Why? Because retention cost, if you see, it is much lower than acquisition cost. The cost you have to incur to acquire new customer in the market is much, much higher than the cost you incur to retain that particular customer in the market. Number one, the cost is lower, retention cost is lower. And number two is, these loyal customers, they work as brand ambassadors for you. They work as the advocates for your brand without charging any fee, and they bring in more and more customers, right? So, if you can have customer loyalty, that means you are going to have a profitable proposition in business. So, demographic segmentation, gives you that edge to create loyal customer, because again, you are trying to segment the market on the basis of age, education, gender, income, occupation, religion, race, nationality and household size, right? For instance, again, if you see, suppose we are talking of toys, right? So, toys which are preferred by the age group of 0 to maybe 3 years may not be similar to that of 3 to 10 years, right? So, kids of 0 to 3 years maybe, they would have they would be needing different kind of toys, right? On the other hand, the kids who are in the age group of, say for example, 3 to 10, they would have a different choice for set of toys. So, if I am a toy manufacturer, if I am a business who is dealing with toys, what do I need to do? I need to segment the markets on the basis of age group. So for maybe 0 to 3 years, I'll have this set of offerings to the customers. For 3 to 10 years, I'll have this set of offerings to the customers, and so on and so forth. Again, choice or preferences or choices of the teenagers would obviously be different than the kids, and the adults will be different from the teenagers. So there are various bases through which we can segment the market, and when we are doing it on the basis of age or education or gender or income or occupation, religion, race, nationality and household size, then it is known as demographic segmentation. Let me be very clear. What base would you choose for your segmentation depends upon the kind of business you are doing. I am only explaining the various bases of this segmentation, right? But what would be the best, or maybe if you are segmenting the market, you may have to use one or more bases for segmentation. We are coming to that particular topic also. So, but before that, let us see what is psychographic segmentation. Psychographic segmentation is market segmentation when we are trying to divide the market on the basis of personality, lifestyle, social class, values, beliefs and attitudes. Then it is called as psychographic segmentation. For example, if you see, you cannot expect antique items to be bought by everyone. There is a different class who prefers to buy antique items, right? Similarly, expensive paintings, luxury cars, or maybe best example, luxury mobile manufacturing brands, they have different set of product for different set of segments. So these are not the luxury items, if I say, these are not available for people from every class. So you have two choices, either you concentrate on a particular segment or maybe you go with different offerings for different segments. Then comes behavioral segment. Behavioral segmentation divides customers according to behavior pattern as they interact with the company. A company can segment their market based on consumers' buying behavior, that is by the response to their products and services. As a customer, how are you responding to the offerings of the company? Offerings means what? Products and services. Products which may be tangible or intangible, and when it is intangible, we are telling it services, right? So your marketer divide the segment based on purchase occasion, maybe benefit sought, user status, usage rate, right? Loyalty status, readiness state, attitude toward the products and services, etc. For instance, for my kind of services, maybe suppose if I am a business person and I am there to render a particular services to the customer, there would be different usage rate. Some are heavy users, some are medium users, some are light users, right? So I have to identify, right, who are the heavy users, who are the medium users and who are the light user. And if I am able to identify that, I may be able to devise my marketing strategies, in different manner. For heavy user, I will have a different strategy, and for medium and light user, I will have different strategy. Industries that frequently use customer loyalty segmentation, or maybe this segmentation, they are basically hospitality sectors. Travel, if you see, frequent flyers, programs, and then banking and finance companies also. Like for certain, people who are using credit card immensely, they are called platinum credit card members and so on and so forth, and maybe they are given some extra services on their credit card, right? So basically in services industry, if you see, behavioral segmentation is used. By dividing target audience based on their behavior allows you as a marketer to create specific messaging that will accommodate to those behavior. For instance, you would always see the marketing campaigns such as for our frequent flyers. The aviation industry, if you go, you will see that they have certain kind of offerings for frequent flyers. So this is what, or maybe there are preferred hotel guests. So those customers who have high lifetime value, customer lifetime value, it is called CLV. So high customer lifetime value customer would always be given preference, number one. Number two, the strategies to woo that particular customer would be different than the rest of the customer, right? So that was behavior segmentation. Now, what is the importance of segmentation? Why do we actually need to segment the market? Can't we do marketing without segmentation? Can't we live without it? Let us see. Segmentation is important, as I said, because the market is very, very heterogeneous in nature, right? And segmentation allows to identify the right market for your particular kind of product or services. And then, once you identify the target market, then what you're doing, you're trying to target the market more effectively, having delighted and loyal customers, resulting in improved return on investments. If you segment the market, you can cater to your customers in a more proper manner, in a more effective manner. And if you are able to, cater to your customers in a more effective manner, you will have delighted customer. Delighted customer means loyal customer. Loyal customer means again lesser cost, right, and more profitability. That means your return on investments would be higher. And then segmentation makes planning campaign easier also. Suppose you are planning for a campaign, right, and you know that your target market is age group of, say for example, 13 to 17 or 18 years of age group. That means you are targeting teenagers. Your advertising campaign, your marketing campaign would be according to their taste and preference, according to their choice. It also helps understanding the customer's needs and wants, and it enables tailor-made marketing strategies, right? Segmentation helps marketer to be more efficient in terms of time, money and other resources, and optimum use of productive resources, because resources are limited in your organization, or as a whole also resources are limited, and with those limited resources you have to do your business. So if you can make optimum use of resources, that eventually is going to bring or fetch more profit to you. Segmentation also fetches the benefit of specialization. You can direct your marketing efforts more clearly and more specifically. You can offer specialized products in the market if you can segment the market on particular base effectively. And then knowing your customers allow you to offer a more personal value proposition, and especially, as I said, not only for larger companies, especially when you are a small scale business enterprise, you are a small scale business organization, it becomes all the more important for you to go for segmentation, because you may not have financial capability to cater to the entire market. You may have limited manufacturing and marketing capacity. So in that case, it is always better to you to segment the market and then focus on a particular segment. Now we will see what are the levels of market segmentation, right? Market segmentation can be carried out at different levels. You as a company, maybe you go for no segmentation at all, or maybe complete segmentation, or maybe somewhere in between these two. These are the extreme ends, no segmentation, complete segmentation. But between these two ends, there are certain things which can also be done. So let us see what is the entire range of market segmentation that we can see or experience. One is called mass marketing. Mass marketing is one end of segmentation. That means no segmentation at all. You are not going to segment the market, and you are offering the commodities or services and believing one size fits all. You feel that whatever offerings you have to offer to the customers, it will be suitable to all. This strategy was earlier used by most organizations. If you remember the last class, the previous session, the production approach, or the era when the production concept of marketing was used, then one size fits all, kind of philosophy worked, right? And even now if you see, so in the small business organizations, this mass marketing is working, because they do not have enough resources to give customized services to the entire market. So what do? They do no segmentation, they try to focus the local market, right? Or maybe they are there they would have tried to a local market, but this information technology has changed. They have given a more platform to these kinds of small scale business organization also, that even without incurring much, they can go global, right? So for example, I am a small business organization. I am sitting, suppose I am into manufacturing of some accessories, maybe earrings, right? And I am sitting here. I have a small group of people, and with whom I am doing this business, right? So I am into manufacturing of, say for example, earrings. online, method is such that through online anyone can order my earrings, right? What I have to do? I just have to dispatch it to a particular address, right? Everything is covered. So mass marketing is also used by small business organizations. And then segment marketing. What is segment marketing? That we have been discussed, that you are trying to segment the entire market on particular basis, and then you are choosing either a particular segment or you are choosing different segment, and you are devising different tools, different marketing strategies for different segments. That is called segment marketing. And likewise, there is one niche marketing. When you are you have divided the market into various segments. When you are trying to divide the particular segment again into various subsets, then it becomes niche marketing, right? So adapting a company's offerings to more closely match the needs of one or more subsegments, that is called niche marketing. A niche is a more narrowly defined group, usually identified by dividing a segment into subsegment which has not yet been well served. So you can enter into the market catering to that particular segment, or maybe you can call it sub-segment, right? So a company might create a niche market and develop highly specialized products or services to meet the customer's needs that aren't being met by other offerings. For example, shoes for vegan women. It would be a good example for that, right? Or maybe apparels for plus size people. That is again, this is an example of niche marketing. And then micro marketing. When you are further dividing, when you are further segmenting, you have segmented, then you have segmented again, you have created sub-segments, and then further you are trying to narrow it down. Further you are trying to narrow down your clientele, then it becomes micro marketing. So this form of target marketing, in which is a marketing technique in which marketers tailor their marketing programs to the needs and wants of narrowly defined geographic, demographic, psychographic or behavioral segments. In this case, what is happening? Products are specialized to meet a very specific need of potential customers and marketed primarily to that customer. For example, if you see insurance companies designing products for commercial fishing boats, this is not very usual, but it is for a particular kind of business. And then even more narrowly defined form is individual marketing, which is the other extreme end. One was no segmentation, the other was extreme segmentation, that is individual marketing. Here what are you doing as a marketer? You are tailoring products and marketing programs to the needs and preferences of individual customers in a way that you end up attending to individual customers. In this extreme marketing, I would say that it is extreme form of micro marketing. That micro marketing itself, you are narrowing it down, and when you further narrow it down, it becomes individual marketing, right? So much so that you are catering to individual as a customer. For example, if you see voice insurance of Lata Mangeshkar, this is an example of individual marketing. Not everybody takes insurance, voice insurance, right? So we have discussed so far that there are certain bases on which we can segment or divide the entire market, right? And why should we segment the market or divide the market? Now we will discuss quickly that what are the various strategies that can be used when we have segmented the market. So those segmentation strategies are again broadly classified into three categories: undifferentiated strategy, differentiated strategy and concentrated strategy. So what is differentiated strategy? You have divided the entire market into various segments. Again, say for example, segment A, segment B, segment C, segment D. Or for example, suppose I am taking the entire country, India, as a market, then I have divided the country in 4 segments: north, south, east and west. So I have segmented. And for each segment, for north segment, I am there with a different marketing mix. In segment south, I am there with a different marketing mix. Likewise, in east and west, I am there with different marketing mix. So I will design my marketing strategy or my marketing plan according to the taste and preferences of that particular segment. I am catering to the entire country, but I am having different marketing mix for different segments. That is called differentiated marketing strategy. So marketing mix A for segment A, marketing mix B for segment B, marketing mix C for segment C, and marketing mix D for segment D. Different marketing mix for different segments. On the contrary, undifferentiated marketing strategy means very simply one size fits all. Absence of segmentation. You don't want to take care of the segmentation. You don't want to consider the heterogeneity of the market, and you are offering the products and services to the entire market, right, and you are watching it. This can, there can be a reason for undifferentiated marketing also. One, that you don't want to go, and the other is there are weak segment differences. Suppose you are trying to segment the market, but when you are trying to segment it, divide it, you are seeing that it is not differentiable properly. Then there is no meaning of segmenting the market. So it is always better to go for undifferentiated strategy. If you remember that we have discussed the requirement of effective segmentation. So one element was the segment should be differentiable. If the segments are not differentiable, there is no need, right? So why to go for differentiated marketing strategy? Go for undifferentiated marketing strategy. And the other strategy is concentrated marketing strategy. Concentrated is what? The micro marketing, or maybe niche marketing, or individual marketing. That is called concentrated marketing strategy. Wherein what you are doing? You are trying to segment the market into various segments, and out of those segments you have chosen one segment and concentrating on that particular segment only. You are investing all your resources in that particular segment to cater to the customer. So that is called concentrated marketing segment. So let us quickly sum up what all we have seen in the market segmentation, as market segmentation is very important. When segmenting market to target all those potential customers that fit into the segment, you understand your target fully so that you have a promising proposition. Proposition means goods and services to offer to them that they can afford, and this will create win-win situation for both companies and customers. So this was the end of the discussion. See you in next session. Happy learning.